I've got two reasons for everyone watching this video right now to like today's show. Number one is shout out to you because it's June, it's the dog days of the off season, but you are still locked in. So give yourself a pat on the back and like the video. But the big reason is how about the entire country and all these sports national media just writing off the Titans already for 2023? Call me crazy. I'm going to bet on Mike Vrabel and Derrick Henry and a healthy quarterback to be better than people think they will be in 2023. And if you agree with me, go ahead and like today's video. What's going on, everyone? Welcome into Titans Today by Chat Sports. Thank you so much for tuning in this Sunday afternoon. I wanted to recap all the latest buzz on DeAndre Hopkins and then look at a mailbag question regarding Ben Jones potentially returning to Nashville. So let's start things off with D-Hop, though, because reports are flying all over the place. And the latest one is that he is mulling over his options between Tennessee and New England. Now, we know Hopkins visited both teams earlier this month, started with a visit to Tennessee, went pretty well, but he did leave without signing a contract, and then he went up to New England for a multi-day visit, which also went pretty well, but also left without signing a contract. Now, Jeremy Fowler on SportsCenter said both teams have major interest in signing him, and we're going to look at that in more detail, but first, let's look at this report from Dianna Russini, who said, Hopkins is going over some of those offers from both of those teams, the Titans and the Patriots. He's mulling over and trying to come out with a decision with what he wants to do, and I was told to be very patient here. This isn't something that's going to go down in the next 24 to 48 hours. Hopkins is in no rush, right? Nothing's really going to happen between now and the first week of August, so if he wants to wait even into training camp to see if a star wide receiver has like a Jordy Nelson freak injury and that dramatically raises his value and he gets more money, he might do that. Or he might just wait and see if it's a game of chicken and someone wants to blink first and one of the teams and one of the contenders he really, really wants to go to finally picks up the phone and agrees to pay him what he is asking for. So I, too, am not expecting a signing to even happen before the 4th of July. Now, Fowler also talked about Hopkins on SportsCenter, and he said, there's a lull in action right now. Training camp's not for a month, not a lot of rush. He met with the Titans, met with the Patriots. Both teams made clear that they have major interest in signing him. I'm told there is some mutual interest and respect between the Patriots and Hopkins that something could go down, but they couldn't get that deal done while he was on the visit. This definitely feels like a 50-50 ball. It could go either way if it really is a two-horse race. I think it's a three-horse race. It's the Titans, it's the Patriots, and it's Hopkins hoping that the Chiefs or the Bills call because he believes that's his best opportunity to win a Super Bowl, and who's going to say no to that? But let's say those teams don't call, and it really is between New England and Tennessee for DeAndre Hopkins. Well, D-Hop, if you're watching, I came up with a pros and cons list to help you out here. Let's start with Tennessee. Big pro, it's a southern city, went to college in the South at Clemson, drafted to Houston, played in Arizona, has never really called a northern outdoor city home in his NFL career. So that's definitely something that I think weighs into it for him. Con, they weren't that great last year. 7-10, they ended the year on a 7-game losing streak. Vibes are not super duper high in the Music City. A pro, I think Ryan Tannehill for at least one season, and that's really all DeAndre Hopkins cares about is 2023, is probably better than Mac Jones, at least, again, for just this one season. And DeAndre Hopkins doesn't care who's better in 5 years. He only cares who's better this year. And I'd probably go with Tannehill. Con, I don't know what the Titans are thinking. They went broke boys and flew him out in Southwest Airlines. So that apparently did not sit well. That was kind of the bizarre rumor on the streets of Nashville. But sure, that is out there. Now, as for the New England Patriots, pro, Bill Belichick is your head coach. He's a really good head coach. Con, Bill O'Brien is there, and Bill O'Brien traded DeAndre Hopkins away for nothing. So if Hopkins still hold a grudge over that, maybe he doesn't want to go up to Foxborough, and this has been all one big blue balling tease for Bill O'Brien. Pro, he would be the undoubted wide receiver one. I know Juju Smith-Schuster's there, but I'm not a big Juju Smith-Schuster fan anyway. This is true for both sides. Wherever DeAndre Hopkins goes, He's going to get the most targets of any wide receiver. He's going to be the number one receiving option between Tennessee and New England. A con, similar to Nashville, I got to be fair, Tennessee rather, they went 8-9. They're not much better than Tennessee at this point, coming off a losing season as well. So predict it for me. Where do you think Hopkins will end up going? Is it the Titans or is it the Patriots? I'm going to give you my prediction in just a moment, but sound off for me down in the comments section below. I think right now the Patriots have that 51 to 49% edge. I'm not quite sure. I thought Bill O'Brien would be a bigger hurdle for DeAndre Hopkins to get past, but evidently not, and I don't really know why, because Bill O'Brien did him dirty when he traded him away from an all-star quarterback in Deshaun Watson, as those two were on the come-up, and for some reason, Bill O'Brien didn't think that he could get a lot for DeAndre Hopkins, because he didn't get a lot for DeAndre Hopkins. I think he thought DeAndre Hopkins wasn't as impactful as he was being paid to do, so all of a sudden that's going to change in New England. Unless Bill O'Brien started off their meeting with, hand up, I fucked up, I think DeAndre Hopkins is probably going to be a little bit frustrated with B.O.B. Now, we're going to talk more about this in just a moment, but some recent subscribers here at the channel I want to give a shout out to. Jack J.K., I don't know if it's actually Jack or if Jack's just kidding, Cody Anderson, Kyle Wampler, George Cooper, and hey, we've got an open spot on the list, so if you want to get a shout out, subscribe down below. We're all about audience interaction here at Titans Today, so get on screen, let your voice be heard by subscribing to the channel. Shifting gears a little bit, I want to talk about Ben Jones to kind of wrap up the show, because there's some interest in a potential reunion. Doesn't really appear so. So Jim Wyatt, who is the Titans team reporter, does a fantastic job, is frequently doing mailbags in the offseason, and he was asked about the Titans potentially re-signing Ben Jones, and here's what he said. I do not expect Ben Jones to come back. Plus, Brunskill is already wearing his jersey number 60. So the only way I see Ben Jones coming back to whether it's Tennessee or it's another team in the NFL is if a center gets hurt during training camp. Last year, I remember the Bucs center went down during training camp, and the Ben Jones of 2022 was the former Browns center, J.C. Tretter. You might remember that name. He was a pretty notable free agent who never got signed. Now, it's not exactly clear if J.C. Tretter retired from the NFL or if the NFL retired J.C. Tretter. It sounded like he had a short list of teams he wanted to come back for, and those teams never came calling. And if I'm Ben Jones and I played in the NFL for 10-plus seasons at this point, I too might have a short list of teams. And if those teams don't come a-knocking, you're probably not dying to go back and play for one of the bottom-of-the-barrel NFL teams just to pick up some more black and blue bruises and pick up another paycheck when you've already got plenty of money left in the bank. Now, before we get to the rest of the Ben Jones segment on the show, great deal going on over at Fanatics. You can get this Tennessee Titans t-shirt and hat combo, plus it's on sale. So you're basically losing money if you don't get this. Chatsports.com/10combo. The link's in the comments and the description of today's video. So Ben Jones is not out of a job at the moment because he's not good at his job. Last year, PFF graded him with a 71.9 overall grade. If you're not familiar with PFF's grading system, my cheat code is add 10 to that number, and that's like the letter grade you would get at school. So he was a B- center. There's not many B- plus B- and above centers in the NFL. So there are definitely a lot of teams who view Ben Jones as an upgrade from what they currently have. But again, the question is Ben Jones dying to go to a new city with his family or be away from his family and learn a whole new system and whatnot if he doesn't feel that that's somewhere he wants to go or that's somewhere he can chase a ring? And if those ducks don't line up, he's probably content with enjoying his retirement down in the South. So I think it's lack of interest from Ben Jones to return to the NFL at this point, more so than teams wanting Ben Jones, right? I think it's Ben Jones deciding maybe it's time to hang it up. I've had a good run. It was a very emotional departure from Jones in the Tennessee Titans. It seemed like, at least for these two teams, it was time to go their separate ways, just as Tennessee looks to flip a page a little bit and really gut their offensive line, moving on from Taylor Lewan, moving on from Ben Jones, kind of starting from scratch a little bit, signing Andre Dillard, drafting Peter Skoronski. They made a lot of moves in addition so far on the offensive line, and Ben Jones might end up being better than Aaron Brewer would be at center this year, but I think they just are ready to try something new. Now, speaking of the guys up front that are always underappreciated, who is your favorite Titans offensive lineman of all time? Is it Ben Jones? Is it Taylor Lewan? Someone else I'm forgetting about? Let me know down in the comment section below who your favorite Titans O-lineman is. That's going to do it for us on today's edition of Titans Today by Chat Sports. Thank you so much for tuning in. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday, and we will catch up throughout the week with the latest Titans news and rumors.